Alright, this is going to be an extension of error. So this can be for advanced students or higher level students. But now let's do a combination. So this is going to be an extension of the concepts we learned previously. Sig figs, significant figures with multiplication and division, addition and subtraction. But what do you do if you have data that is going to be a combination of all? So let's look at an example. Well, I guess before the example, I'll give you the rules. Well, I'll give you the example, because then that will motivate the set of rules. Alright, so let's say you want to calculate velocity. And velocity, or speed, speed is going to be absolute value of velocity, but velocity is going to be distance divided by time. Alright, well let's say you've taken data. You start at this particular point, and you go to this point. And let's say that is going to be 1.3 meters, because that's going to be a distance, a unit of distance. Not to scale, obviously, because last time we saw a meter is going to be that length, about the length of the board. And let's say you time it, and let's say it takes a time of 0.1 second. S will represent seconds. Then you continue, and then this goes along here, and let's say this distance from here to here you measure as 26.33, and then this time from here to here is 26.1 seconds. To get the total distance you have to add, to get the total time you have to add, and then to get the velocity you have to do a division. So that's going to be a combination. So let's first give you the rules. Combination calculations. So, if the next calculation is the same type, do all the calculations, then round. So if you had a number multiplied by another number, multiplied by another measurement, multiplied by another measurement, divided by another measurement, in that series, you do all those operations, multiply, 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 divide, then round to the correct number of sig figs following your previous sig fig rules. Or if you add and subtract. If you add and add and add measurements and then subtract measurements, then you're going to round or follow the decimal, or round to the lowest decimal place. Lowest number of decimal places, I should say. So if the next calculation is different, so if you add a bunch of numbers and then have to divide, you round after adding to following the correct rule, and then do your division, and then round again. So the next calculation is different, round before the next calculation. So what we can do is we can break this into distance total is going to be distance 1 plus distance 2. Distance 1 is 1.34, 2 decimal places, plus 26.33, 2 decimal places, but 4 sig figs and 3 sig figs. It doesn't matter with rounding the number of sig figs, it's the decimal places. So this comes up to be 27.67. It's got 2 decimal places. 2 decimal places, 2 decimal places. Therefore the answer is at least, it's 2 decimal places, but this has 3 sig figs. This has 4 sig figs. Doesn't matter, this has 4 sig figs. We can do the same thing with the time. Time total is going to be time 1 plus time 2. 0.1 plus 26.1 is going to be 26.2 seconds. One decimal, one decimal, one decimal place. 3 sig figs, 1 sig fig, 3 sig figs. Doesn't matter, so we got the number of decimal places. Followed our rules and rounded to what we would have had. So if this would have been 0.111, we'd have still had to round to that first decimal place. If we had 0.33333, we would still round to that second decimal place. So round. So you get your rounded numbers. Then now you're going to complete your division. Now you would put your numbers in here. 27.67 has 4 sig figs. 26.2 has 3 sig figs. How many does the answer got to have? The least in the problem, 3 sig figs. So when you do the division, you end up with 1.056 in your calculator plus more numbers. You want to round, so you'd be 1.06 meters per second, with this having the 3 sig figs. Alright, that concludes the extension lesson of combination of operations.